highlight of our collection is, and for sale, is a first edition, first printing dust jacket of Margaret Mitchell's Gone with the Wind. It comes also with some ephemera. There's a letter from Margaret Mitchell's secretary to the man who owned this book. He sent it to have it signed, and she didn't do it, but got a letter back. And it comes also with a sheet of music, that Gone with the Wind sheet of music from 1936.
This book is called Derek's Handbook of Petroleum. For 3 years I've been researching it, and I've been unable to find any other copy in the United States for sale. This book was published in 1859. It covers from 1859 to 1898. It's very, very rare. It tells about exploration of oil from the very, very beginning in the United States, from the time that they put blankets on a stream in Pennsylvania to wring out the oil and put oil in a barrel and float it downstream.
I'd like to show you some of my special items that I have here today. The first one is The Time Machine by H.G. Wells. Very nondescript little book. This is first edition, but what is so fascinating about it is that on the very front title page, this is his first book, the publisher didn't know H.G. Wells, and so he put H.S. Wells, and that's how you tell it's the very first edition. Interesting, huh? The next book I'd like to show you is a first edition of the poems of T.S. Eliot. And this again is a nondescript, but it is signed by him. And in the back, he actually wrote stanza to a poem that was never titled, and it is in his handwriting.
This here is an Italian antiphonal. It is circa 1350 to probably 1400. It is Bolognian, and it probably was in some large monastery. It was done by a gentleman named Nero, we believe, and it is an extremely rare piece.
One of my favorite pieces that we have on display this weekend at the book fair here in St. Pete is the 2-volume African Game Trails limited edition by Teddy Roosevelt, for 500 sets, signed and numbered by Teddy. This one is number 82. They're housed in the original bindings. Not only actually is this set probably the best at the show as far as at my booth, it's probably my favorite thing that we own, period. The signature page, bright, clean, clear Teddy Roosevelt signature. Overall, a great signature.
We have a complete set of the Indiana Society of Chicago, 12 little red books like this, with the scarcest one being the Gene Stratton Porter After the Flood. These 12 books are in an attractive red leather box, custom made for them.
Although our real specialty is Florida and the Caribbean, I brought with me this time a book about China. In fact, it's a book that a Frenchman did back in 1928 in an edition of just 100 copies. It's got wonderful illustrations in it that are hand-colored, and also the chemise box that it's in has a wonderful hand embroidered cover that's just beautiful, and I've fallen in love with it.
I think that was one.
The book I've got here is a fairly common title, Many of you will know the movie Ben-Hur is based on a novel. The novel was an incredible bestseller in its day, very common today, but what's not common are signed copies. The one I've got here is signed, and it has an interesting publication history. The book was such a big seller in its day that the publisher kept trying to find ways to sell more copies. And when President Garfield was assassinated, they capitalized on his assassination to bring out the Garfield edition of Ben-Hur. Garfield and the author of the book, Lew Wallace, had served together during the Civil War. And the other thing that's interesting about this is that the publisher used this book to try to promote not just Wallace's book, but other Indiana authors, and gives you some idea how much more regional or regionally focused American publishing was a century ago compared with today.
Give this little talk at the 30th anniversary of the Antiquarian Book Fair, and I'm assuming by you attending this, you are somehow interested in history, and that's basically what we're going to talk about. Material for this comes from a book that I will have coming out next year called World War I and its effects on world history.
Suggestions and turn them into.
You did a great job.
This is an extraordinarily fine book fair. We have made a lot of new contacts. We sold a lot of our really good stuff.
I found Victor Hugo's Les Miserables and The Count of Monte Cristo. I'm in a French Revolution pick.
A book on the Titanic conspiracy. I like to collect books on the Spanish-American War, but didn't find any because I think we got here a little bit late this year. We usually come on Saturday mornings.
This year there's been a renewed interest, as far as I'm concerned, in John MacDonald. I always bring some John MacDonald books to the show, and this year more and more people are buying books by John MacDonald. And I'll make sure next year I bring more books by Florida writers.
I found some manuscripts that were done by Walter Fuller, who was one of our early historians.
I wish I had a lot more money. That's the
Yes,
thing.
that's what it illustrates most of all. Is that we need more money to.
There was a $9,000 map I would like to own.
Yeah.
Alas.
I just enjoy looking because I'm having a sight problem and I can't read as much as I used to, but I still enjoy looking.
I got a lot of different things, but mostly some of the photography books that I like so much. The big heavy ones that nobody wants to take, none of the dealers want to take home with them come Sunday afternoon. So I have to pick them out on Friday and Saturday and come back and get them on Sunday.
It's a weekend we mark on our calendar in ink.
Good evening. The time is now 4 o'clock. Our 30th annual Florida Antiquarian Book Fair has come to a close. We hope you'll join us for next year's fair, the second full weekend in March. Thank you.